This conference will now be recorded.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome, particularly in the middle of, I think, what we try to consider a vacation month. It's really important that we all deal with this situation, and so it's good to have you here. I am calling this meeting to order on August 3rd, 2023 at 1:35 p.m. Are there any public comments? Okay, hearing none. Let's go to agenda item 1, I guess. And I think it's Bert Hunter is going to talk about a relationship that we have with Posigen that we need to deal with right now. Bert.
Thank you very much, Chair Reed. And my apologies to the board for having to call you out from your vacation. There was a little bit of a misdirection in terms of an email notice that came to us via an obscure location which we did not take note of, and that got stuck somewhere in the deep recesses of Outlook. So apparently a number of other potential Posigen investor relationships also had the same issue because they pushed back the deadline for responding until August 11th. So anyway, we're going to take this issue up, and this relates to, and Larry Campagna here will walk you through this, but this relates to a recapitalization, more funds for the company that are being brought in by institutional investors, and at a high level to maintain our equity level participation, which the board previously approved and which Larry will describe. We would like to participate. This is not a big dollar amount. It's an incremental $120,000 or so on top of our existing $245,000. But Larry will walk you through this, and hopefully the board will find this an agreeable incremental investment. So Larry, would you care to walk the board through this, please?
Great, and thanks, Bert, and thank you for having me. In February of 2021, we exercised 500,000 warrants in a transaction that was $245,000. We actually used penalty interest that was due to us to execute that transaction. So we had 500,000 shares of Series D3B preferred stock. Since then, there's been multiple capital raises that are outlined on the slide. There was $26 million that happened twice. And then most recently, a small group of lead investors provided $26 million that's been rolled into this recapitalization. So the $26 million is part of a total recapitalization that could be as much as $37 million. So we received this notice that our past Series D3B preferred stock was converted into 7.5 million shares of common stock. And we're given the opportunity to invest $121,000 into a note, which has terms attached to it that are the same as the group of investors that have already put their $26.8 million in, which include interest, dividend, and a preferred treatment in the waterfall of cash. So we'd be purchasing the notes, but in addition to the notes and all the terms that go along with it, we'd also be given a new classification of stock called a Series 1. It is a new classification that we're basically pulling through some of the common shares. So not only will we have the notes, which are high up on the waterfall and have all of those all of those interest and dividend and preferential waterfall treatment. We'd also be given the Series 1 note. And if we do not move forward with this $121,000 investment, where our 7.5 million shares of common stock is effectively diluted in a significant way. So for that reason, we're suggesting that we have a similar transaction to what we've done before, where we have a yield sacrifice on some of the interest owed to us currently. There's about $150,000 worth of interest owed to us right now, so we would take a portion of that and put it towards this purchase. And that's what we're recommending to do as part of this transaction, which all started as this recapitalization.
And as explained in your the memorandum that you drew up for the board, Larry, they're looking to raise a Series 2. And there are a range of valuations that they think are reasonably attainable. Do you want to walk through that and the
Yes.
upside?
Right. So the most recent valuation of the company happened in December and was published internally of March of this year, and it was around $184 million. They are looking to do an additional fundraising of Series 2 offering, and we believe that they're targeting, well, they are targeting, and we believe it's a reasonable target, anywhere between $350 million and $450 million valuation when that Series 2 comes out. So let's just go with the middle of that. If there was a $400 million valuation, our previous investment, the $245,000 and the $125,000, all of that together, that would be worth about $1 million. So if this Series 2 happens, and we believe it's a good likelihood that it would at that level, is a reasonable target, the $400 million valuation, this investment that we're proposing would be around $1 million.
But if we choose not to participate?
If we chose not to participate, that's about the break-even point on the 245,000. So that would be just about the area where the common stock would be worth something. So that's a difficult point, but if it was a $350,000 valuation, we would effectively have no value. It would be really significantly diluted if we did not do this additional investment. The common stock would only be worth something. You'd only be paid out in the common stock above $400 million. So it would really be we would not have a significant upside until you reach that $400 million mark.
Right. Okay. So,
this is Lonnie. Bert, just explain from what I know about Posigen. I mean, it's been going great guns for a while, but given the Inflation Reduction Act and all of the emphasis now on equity and justice in this market, Posigen is one of the lead players in this. And I mean, I just looking at why this is a wise investment.
sure. And the wind is really at their backs, given the Inflation Reduction Act, as well as all of the investment tax credit adders that'll be available to Posigen for low income and energy communities benefits, which all of Fairfield County would qualify for the energy communities credit, and then you get the low income credit depending upon which census tract you are operating in, which there are a number of those in Fairfield County, as well as throughout Connecticut as well as beyond in the other areas, the other states where Posigen is active. So the Inflation Reduction Act has been extremely beneficial for the company. But as we've explained previously, there have been issues with supply chain as well as closing tax equity. A lot of those have been resolved at this point in time. So this is really additional operational cash to give the company funds to continue its expansion and provide a bridge to this Series 2, as well as to additional debt funding, which would come from the Department of Energy Loan Production Office, which they are now in part 2 of that application. There are 2 parts of the application. They successfully passed the first part of the application, and the DOE has invited Posigen to submit part 2, which I believe that's going in a matter of days. It could have even been this week. We were working on that application with them, and that is for $1 billion facility with DOE LPO, and we would participate in that, provided the board would approve, and that would require us to bring in some participants in that transaction. But as a state energy financing institution, or a SEFI, as it's called in the regulations, we provide access for Posigen to the Loan Production Office funding, which would be very, very beneficial and continue the company's progress.
Does anybody have any questions or observations? I see Tom Flynn on. Is there a Tom Flynn moment?
I'm supposed to resist that, Lonnie. Talk a little bit. You guys have talked a little bit about what the upside is with the company, or what you're seeing. Talk a little bit about where they are now and how they've performed to date relative to what the expectations were. You know, going further to Lonnie's point, why is this a good investment? And why do we have confidence in the management team, et cetera?
Well, they have been performing on budget as far as 2023 is concerned. You know, hitting all their key performance indicators. I can share those with you separately, Tom, but not on air. But I would just say that, you know, in addition to that, they're also current on all of their financing arrangements with the Green Bank, which there are 4 available. The subordinated note facility, we have the performance-based incentive facility, we have the battery facility, and we have the investment tax credit facility. 2 of those facilities have participants in there. So that shows that Posigen is still an attractive credit these days.
Thank you. So it sounds attractive from that perspective. Talk a little about their public perception. Is this any chance for a black eye for our organization in working with them, or is there anything we should be careful of related to that?
Not at all. Quite the contrary. The Secretary of the Treasury, I think 3 weeks ago, was down in Louisiana to actually take a tour of the facilities of Posigen down there. Made very complimentary remarks about Posigen, and it was really a great moment for the company to be recognized by the federal government and the Biden administration for all the good work that it has done. So quite honestly, I think there's a little bit of a halo effect here, and I think they're in good standing, all around. And I think that visit actually was very good and a good setup for the DOE facility that's being considered.
Thank you.
You bet.
Any more questions or observations? Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve?
The slide needs to be advanced one. Whoever's got the slide.
Excuse me, Lonnie.
Oh, sorry. Yes, go. Is that John Harity?
Can you hear me,
Yes, we
Yes.
can hear you.
Lonnie?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we hear you, John. Go right ahead.
Understanding is that okay. My understanding is that Posigen is aggressively anti-union. Somewhere in all the discussion about their management, that at least one board member raised in this discussion that clearly they're making enough money to be able to change the way they deal with their workers. Did you get that?
I think I got enough of it to get the flavor of it.
And can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Way better. Yeah.
Yeah, here. But I think we got the gist.
Okay.
Essentially,
All right.
something
Well, that's good.
something about
Yeah.
labor relations and so forth. Um, I'll take that up with you offline as well, John. But let me just say this: the facilities from the DOE LPO will require things like prevailing wage, Davis Bacon, and the like. If there are any issues related to labor, their participation in that facility will force the issue. So they would have to be paying prevailing wages and things of that sort. We haven't been made aware of this issue, but definitely more than willing to explore that with the company and with you.
Well, I'll make sure you get some information about it, Bert.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it. I'd like to see that.
Thank you.
Thanks, John. Any more questions or observations or concerns? Okay, do I hear a motion to approve Resolution 1?
So moved.
Is that Rob? Oh, thank you. Do I hear a second?
Second.
It was Tom Flynn.
It's Tom. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Opposed? Abstaining?
Brenda Watson gave an aye in the chat. Her audio is not working.
Oh, great. Thanks, Bert. Thanks. And I think we're going to go into executive session to deal with the personnel matter next.
That's right. So give me 1 second to put everything on hold as we go into executive.
Let me just say first, before we do that, I just want to congratulate Jane Murphy and the whole finance team again. We've just gotten word that I think this is like the third time maybe that they've won the Government Finance Officers Association Excellence and Comprehensive Financial Report for the fiscal year, the last report 2022. And so it's very impressive, the work that so many have come together to do. And I know Jane, every time I see her, she's in that little glass cage, working. And I know we really appreciate how hard you work and how often you re-examine, the quality of the work that's coming in and the accounting and all of that kind of stuff. And so we really appreciate it and congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay.
This conference will now be recorded.
All right.
Okay. So do I need to reopen this public session? Brian Farnan?
No, we're good.
We're good, so we're back in. Okay, all right. So do I hear a motion to approve Resolution 2?
This is Brenda. Motion to approve.
Thank you, Brenda. Do I hear a second?
Joanna will second.
Thank you.
Second.
Thanks. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Anybody abstaining? Okay. It passes. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, and thank you for this is hard stuff. So and again, thank you for joining us. Do I hear a motion to adjourn this special meeting of the Green Bank Board?
Motion to adjourn.
Do I hear a second?
Second, Rob.
Second.
Thanks, Rob. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Abstaining? Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Rest of the week.
Yeah.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Yes, good luck.